Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Rutledge Doggett, site founder.
Andrew Stretch, your tired editor.
Yeah, it's all about the tires with you, huh?
Yeah, that's it. I'm a big racing game fan. That's what I was going for.
That's Forza Horizon, or no, Forza Motorsports, just around the corner.
Yep.
That's true. Yep. It's been a while since we've had just a motorsport coming out, but that's beside the point because we're not actually here to talk about tires.
We are here to talk about Forza Motorsport and also like every other video game this year because we decided we want to take a look at, because it's kind of been like a narrative for the past year, right? That like, man, there's a lot of games coming out this year. And then you look at October and it's like, I don't want to think about it. like it's just a lot.
Yeah, to the readers listening at home, I don't know why I said readers. A bit of inside baseball. We here at TechRaptor are fucking exhausted. This year has been go. Like, I was looking at reviews that I have written, only reviews, not looking at any like previews or anything. And in January alone this year, I did Persona 3 Portable back to back with the Dead Space remake. And just like, that was just a small microcosm of January from me. And every single week that there has been new announcement, it's been like, oh, another game in October, in November.
Yeah, it's literally gotten to the point that I have a spreadsheet tracking what we're covering, and I just send that to PR now. I'm like, all right, I'll do the best I can to fit this in, but for transparency, this is what we're dealing with. And all of them are like, yeah, we're tired too. So like, it's not just us. And yeah, it's been absolutely bonkers. Like, I don't think we've had a year like this and
now to play some outsider some normal no, okay, wait, so insider baseball is like the inside. I want to go to the outside of it now, just baseball, to talk baseball for this.
We're going to be a baseball podcast now.
Baseball.
to try and talk that. I think it says a lot that for us, you know, when we're in media, we're in it. I think it's pretty common for us to feel a little overwhelmed with games because it's like I think we're seeing more than your average person, right? Your casual person. And it's like not like an access thing. It's more like we're tracking all of these games, right? Like mentally, because it's part of the gig. But I've been hearing a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of discussion, Twitter, Reddit, etc., of even just average people who aren't in the industry, who aren't in media, who are just like, man, there's a fuck ton of games out. You know, so it's like it feels very palpable this year, a lot more so than previous ones that I've been feeling. You know,
yeah, it's like it's back to back to back to back to back. Every week there's some sort of a release, and granted, I look at from indie all the way up to AAA for our coverage, so there's a lot that I look at. But even in kind of the AAA, AA space, like it's been. I can't think of a time that I've played as many AA and AAA games in a single year.
Yeah,
we're a little bit less than a month away from a Sonic game, a 2D Mario game, and Spider-Man 2 dropping within 3 days. How you? Yeah, what?
Wait, what? Oh yeah, wait, hold on, wait.
And that's not even counting like Alan Wake, around the same period, and a couple others.
Yeah, Alan Wake's like, a week later.
Yeah, it just hit me that fucking it's a 2D Sonic and 2D. It's 1990 whatever again, y'all. We're back. Genesis do
Game Boy.
Someone figured that out and released that or something, that this is like the first time that a 2D Mario and a 2D Sonic are releasing like in the same month since, you know, some crazy day like the 90s.
Wild.
Sonic Tuesday.
Yeah. So I think a good place for us to kind of start here is we are in September. Game of the Year talk is on the horizon, but not quite here yet. And you know, you'll notice every year. I mean, people always say like there's a lot of recency bias. You always think about the games that come out in November and October and September when people talk Game of the Year. And I mean, it's somewhat fair considering like there's a lot of volume in those parts of the year, right? Because Christmas is something that a lot of people shoot for. A lot of marketing groups are aiming for that. But there's a lot of games from earlier this year too. So maybe it might be good to kind of go through and maybe Stretch, if you want to kick us off. You told us some of the games you reviewed in January, but what are some games you don't want to forget from the early parts of the year when it comes to game of the year?
One thing to throw out, we do have a game calendar on the site. So techraptor.net /game-calendar/2023 will have a list of a good chunk of the games that came out this year and then content we've written about them. So definitely check that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from our sponsor.
Sponsored post.
Yeah, I mean, the Dead Space remake was great, especially coming right off the back of December's what was it called? Something Protocol?
Callisto Protocol.
Right off the back of Callisto Protocol, for them to just absolutely nail that Dead Space remake. You know, it did the same kind of thing that, you know, and this is going to be a weird comparison. It felt very much like the Wind Waker HD to me, that it was like, this is the game I remember playing. And I know that if I actually went back and played the original, it would not be this. But this is how I feel it was when I was playing it on, you know, my 4.3 monitor back in whenever the original Dead Space came out.
Yeah.
A little indie game from May that I was a huge fan of was Ravenlock. That was by Coco Cucumber. That was like the third of their like voxel bit trilogy. That was like a 4-hour sit down and play. It's on Game Pass. It was just a fun little game to play.
Yeah. Well, what about you? What are some early 2023 entrants for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first half of 2023 for me was probably a little more indie focused. I'm on a fishing kick this year, I guess. So, you know, starting off with Dredge.
I'm not going to respond to your fucking emails. Quit trying to fish.
I get it.
I just need your password, Andrew. You know, Dredge was one that was early on in the year that, I mean, I dumped a ton of hours into that. It's a super chill experience, even with it being a little Lovecraftian, and it's really definitely worth your time. And then, you know, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, that early part of the year, put a lot of time into that one.
No, right? You're telling me that you're a Star Wars fan?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. If you're
Not
listening,
I'm not looking at the $700 Venator class Lego. Okay.
What?
I don't know. Just smile and wave. Move on.
I don't watch Star Trek. I don't know what this shit's about. But
you know,
and you've got a lot of Star Wars memorabilia behind you. Just for the audio only listeners.
For the people who are only listening, yeah, it's a shit ton of Star Wars behind me. But yeah, I mean, Jedi Survivor was phenomenal. Terra Nil was another indie that came up where it's a reverse city builder where you're restoring the ecosystem. Super chill, a lot of fun, really good gameplay loop replayability. And then I'm just like looking through the list on our site and I don't even remember half of this releasing.
Just stunned. Yeah.
I know we did coverage for it. It's blank.
You're just tired. I'm tired, Chief.
Yeah, I'm tired. So I mean, early year, mid year, there was just a lot.
I mean, I feel like the easy answer also is Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like that.
Tears of the Kingdom.
May.
Yep.
I felt that was unwarranted to even need to bring it up. Everyone's going to remember it.
Yeah.
Yako won't.
Well, he might for different reasons.
Okay, this is why we don't let him on the podcast anymore.
Hi-Fi Rush, I really like that a lot, and I love just the way it came out, just the surprise, like, you know, here it is, go play it.
From the creators of that really fucking scary game comes Robbie Damon being a dude hanging out playing music.
Yeah, just playing his guitar and hitting people with it. I mean, honestly, that game is so fun and worth your time. Just the way they use Perfect Drug by Nine Inch Nails in the final boss fight, so cool. 100% so cool. Do check it out. Would recommend. Like a Dragon Ishin, I enjoyed that. I don't know if that's necessarily game of the year, but it's a good reminder that within a year-ish time frame, there's going to be 3 Like a Dragon games coming out, which is kind of crazy to think about, considering how dense those games are. Like just the amount of shit you can do in them. So that'll be fun to kind of talk about and see how that goes throughout the year, right? And then I know some people really liked Octopath 2 this year, right?
That was this year.
I think so, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Octopath was this year.
Yeah. So there's definitely been a lot from the early part of the year that just it's easy to forget just because of how much other shit has been coming out in the past few weeks and is going to be coming out soon, right? Like, do you remember that Dead Island 2 came out this year?
Oh man,
Redfall
and Gollum, yeah,
Redfall
and Gollum.
yeah.
Has the 60 FPS patch come out for Redfall yet?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I remember. Jesus, I looked up Redfall 60 FPS patch. The first thing I find is on our Redfall. Where's the 60 FPS patch?
Hey, someone's talking about it. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's still excited for it. That's good.
I mean, once Wild Hearts came out in February, which was the Koei Tecmo Monster Hunter like game.
Yeah.
It's now shut down.
Just a few weeks ago, they announced that they were stopping support for the title. So there won't be any future expansions. And that's been a whole 6 months, which is pretty wild. I think that they did get out everything that was on their roadmap, but obviously there wasn't the drive to continue.
Which is a shame because when that news came out, I saw a lot of people that were like, this is a really refreshing take on Monster Hunter, and I enjoyed it. And so
it was fun.
Again,
I enjoyed it
think
more than I enjoy Monster Hunter games.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the speed and quantity of things that are coming out. Studios aren't going to hold on to things for as long if they're not a hit.
Well, yeah. I think that's maybe what's making live service games right now kind of. I know that for a while it's been like everyone's chasing a live service game to make a lot of money. But if anything this year has taught me, it's that people are hungry for single player experiences, right? Like Baldur's Gate is probably still a month later the biggest game on the internet right now. And it is intensely single player. I mean, it's like there's the co-op, right? But like it's the story RPG that you focus on. There's no live service.
There's a lot more than story if Twitter's to be believed.
It's true.
Very thirsty. Y'all are very thirsty.
Like knowing that in Square Enix's future is like Foam Party and stuff. It's like when it comes to any Foam Stars, that's it.
Foam Star. Oh, I forgot about that.
When it comes to these, or like if an indie developer is like putting out a new MOBA, it's like I can't foresee the top dogs getting pushed out of their place. And it's really hard. Like I don't ever want to be someone that like looks at a game and looks at the developer and says, why are you doing this? You're not like your game is going to be dead in 3 months or like dead in a year. But with how competitive the space is, it's crazy to look at titans like, Pokemon Unite showed up and was able to make a space in the MOBA field because it's Pokemon.
Because of the name. Yeah.
Season 2 of the Crash Bandicoot MOBA came out. Did you guys know that?
What's that? Wait, what is that?
Was that Wampa League?
Yeah. Yeah, Season 2 came out. They added Ripto from Spyro the Dragon. I'm not sure Spyro's in the game, but Ripto's there.
He's all who matters.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
no, I'm with you
Crash
there.
Bandicoot, and you still can't break into the market, then it's so hard in such a competitive place, especially in this year. Such a competitive year.
Well,
I think the thing is, like, at this point, I don't want to say you have to be perfect, but you have to be rock solid in your pitch, in your presentation, and in your launch, or you're pretty much doomed as a live service game these days. Because gamers are not forgiving at this point. Like, the speed at which reviews go up on Steam now, pretty crazy.
I've
And
heard
that definitely
really fucking
influences
good shit
purchases.
about Cyberpunk 2.0. Talking about gamers not being forgiven, I definitely don't think that we're going to see it hit the cultural zeitgeist in the same way. Like how Sea of Thieves is big again, but it's not like Apex big or
PvE mode.
No Man's Sky kind of thing. But people are digging Cyberpunk.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's that meme. Always was.
That meme.
Yeah,
meme.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Always.
Yeah.
It was
Can't even
always good.
fucking talk.
I tore through 1.0.
I don't know.
I think no matter how you personally feel about it, the fact that it was delisted from the PlayStation Store for about 6 months, kind of.
I'll be honest. The only people I know that enjoyed 1.0 played on PC,
Oh
Yeah.
and I was
'cause
on PC.
Well, and you
we know
needed a
PC
beefy.
gamers are fucking losers.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
you
was
needed
on
a
a
beefy rig to
1070
push
at the
through.
time.
Yeah, it was fine.
2070.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I think that stretched around to a good point earlier that I kind of want to like break open and visit here is that it's a very competitive space now. I think for attention, I feel like we're at this point where, like, for a while the whole $70 debate was pretty big because I mean games are pretty expensive as far as media goes, right? But I'm honestly kind of feeling like, especially over these next few months, the hotter commodity is attention and time, not so much the money, right? Because there's so many people I know where like I'm going to add that to my backlog because I just do not have the bandwidth to even think about starting that game, and let alone with all of these games being long experiences. Like two of the biggest games of the year, Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate, they're not like 3 hours and you're done, right? Like if you like them, right? If you want to get your experience with them, you're talking like 100-hour commitment each.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's
games
like
are getting longer, and there's more of them. So every game is just fighting for, like you said, attention at this point. And if you don't get that attention,
that's like I'm stupidly not worried about Spider-Man 2 and Mario Wonder because it'll be like, oh well, I'll play Spider-Man 2 on my TV, and then when my wife wants to watch TV, I'll just pull my Switch out of the dock and I'll play Mario Wonder. And it's like kind of there's this stupid like the only way that that's going to work for me is because of the Switch's portability and balance.
So how come you don't solve that problem by buying the PSP?
Well, because I don't believe in getting scammed out of $200 for an overpriced tablet and a PlayStation controller sawed in half.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think that there is some. I think everyone's gonna have a different reason for all of the things that they're like, why they're paying attention to what, right? And it's like lifestyle is one of them, but also like interests, right? Like, I think it's kind of hard to say, if someone's interested in Spider-Man 2, they're less likely to be interested in Mario, right? I honestly don't think that's the case for those two games. I feel like they're really fighting for the similar crowd. There's a big overlap in their Venn diagram, right? But then a game like a Dragon Gaiden, right? Like that game, I think the Yakuza fan base has been more rabid than it's ever been, for better than worse, right? Like I love those games, but I also do think that that's a niche. You know what I mean? Like, and in terms of, there's going to be probably a lot more people still playing Mario after Gaiden comes out.
Yeah. And what Gaiden was just announced to be coming to Game Pass, right?
Yep, it's coming to Game Pass. So low barrier.
Yeah, so that's also an incredibly low barrier of entry that just like people go and play this game. I mean, and that's a good way. That's a good way to get someone's attention if they don't have to put in additional funds to enjoy the content.
Right. But then arguably that also makes it even more of a chase to attention, don't you think? In that, like, if you're into Starfield, you are potentially still playing Starfield when Like a Dragon Gaiden comes out. So even though you're getting Gaiden for free, quote unquote asterisk for free,
you
still might be playing Starfield,
Well, and then 8 days after Like a Dragon Gaiden is when Persona 5 Tactica drops on Game Pass, and we've just had Lies of P launch a day early on Game Pass because they were just like, it's live now, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, I'm so excited to play Lies of P. Like, dude, you play as Pinocchio and you kill puppets. Like, how do you not want to play that? And I just don't have that time right now because I'm like reviewing another game. I'm barely in Act 2 of Baldur's Gate, and it's like I'm kind of glad I didn't jive with Starfield because I'm like, thank God that's like 100 more hours I'm free to do other things now.
I have just rescued the girl who was getting threatened by the snake in the druid glaive in Baldur's Gate 3. That's as far as I have gotten because life and other video games have come up.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the hard. Even like us, who, I mean, none of us do this full time. Like it's not like our only job, right? A lot of us have other gigs that we have or other jobs that we have, but even if we can't keep up with the year, I don't know how average people are either, but yet you still do see those headlines of like this thing sold, X million copies in 3 days or whatever. So it's still a healthy time for the industry. I don't think it's like I'm worried games will never sell anymore, but it's scary to me just how much there is coming out.
It's like you said earlier, for me, it's not even a money factor. I can afford the games. I don't have time. Like, there's just, I can't do 11 30 to 40 hour experiences in a month. I can't.
Whoever was attributed to that quote of like, when you're a kid, you have no money, but all of the time to play games. And then you become an adult and you have the money to buy games, but no time to play it. That if I was a kid now in high school with access to Game Pass, to a computer when they were doing like the free EGS stuff, or just also the free games, like Fortnite is fucking huge and people don't have to drop a cent into it. That's
how they can get money back.
Yeah, that's true. When I was growing up and I, didn't have the pocket money built up to purchase a new game, I was finding weird like shareware, abandonware games online of Sonic the Hedgehog running through a Doom level. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing that exists.
And why isn't that game of the year every year?
That's just bonkers.
When we were younger, shareware was like, it was still kind of at its height.
It's just like, I'll download this 90s executable. Why the fuck not?
.exe from BearShare, let's go.
BearShare.
Fucking BearShare, let's go.
Computers.
Damn, that takes me back, man. You guys want to play some chess on zone.com?
No.
Man, I still log into Congregate every now and then.
Yeah.
Same.
So with so many games, I want to ask you guys, what is your metric for when you move on from a game? Like, how do you know, like, how quick are you to drop a game? How much do you try to stick with something?
Honestly, for me, it's the power of how much do I want to play that other game that just dropped. Because if I really want to play that, I will stop whatever current game I'm playing, probably, unless I'm really, really digging it, to check out the new thing. Unless I have to like review something, like play a game for work or whatever. I think the only two that have like games this year that have stuck to me where I'm like, I'm not going to stop playing these is Tears of the Kingdom and almost Baldur's Gate 3. I do want to get, like, I want to get back to it and keep grinding through it.
Well, you had PAX interrupt all of that for you, correct?
Yeah, PAX and then a few other things between then and now. So it's like, man, it's a lot. What about you,
for me, it's if I'm a couple hours in and I can't see myself 100%ing it. Like, to me, it's not so much the achievement bit, but like, am I willing to play that much?
That's some fucking
and is there something else in
logic
the way?
right there?
Well, no, like,
right. You don't start a game unless you're like, I will 100% this.
No. It's like, can I see myself 100%ing this while there's this other game coming out in 2 days? Like that to me, that's the engagement metric of like I really want to continue playing this if I have to balance 2 games. But only if I have to balance 2 games. Like that's how I kind of make that decision mentally, is like, can I see myself just absolutely burning through this game? Am I having that much fun? But if I get a couple hours in and I'm like, I can take it or leave it, I'll drop it.
If the 100% drive ain't there.
Yeah. Well, like for Witchfire, for example, I've been playing that, and the first like 2 hours were brutal. Like we were talking about this pre-pod, like you're a literal peon, and you're just getting dunked on. And I was getting frustrated because I just kept getting one shot. And then I finally got past that barrier, like 2.5 hours in, and I haven't put it down since. And it's on EGS, so there's no achievements. So achievements weren't the factor in this. Like for me, it was I hit this factor where I was like, this is awesome.
Wait, sorry, we need to examine this. How does it feel having fun with a game without it being tied to like
it's not always about achievements at the end of the day, but for me that's the like
points.
Listen, I'm going for perfect on everything, but like I am at heart like a completionist. I like seeing and doing everything. And if I can't see myself being willing to do that, and there's another game that just released that I am interested in, I'll hop and maybe come back. I have 56 games installed on my computer right now.
And you've 100%ed all of them, right? Every single one?
No. All of them are games that I would like to 100%, but probably will honestly never get to. At the rate of release, like I still have games that I haven't played since 2022. Because Steam, you can sort by last time you played.
Right.
Yeah, I've got January, February, March, April, May, all the way up to now. Like,
wow,
that I want to go back to, but there's this new thing that I want more than I want that previous one.
Yeah.
Well, and Stretch, you're like notorious for huffing games. Of the
true.
usual people on the pod, you're like Persona 4. Yeah, that's like a 10-hour game. What about you? What's your
I've got 76 pages of guide notes. It's been a day and a half.
I'll have to look up what
I think that was Final Fantasy.
Yeah, what my Final Fantasy.
That one was massive.
It's going to take a while to load. If my webcam starts chugging, it's because it's trying to load my guide document. With games, for all of the games that like I get through and I like absolutely huff, when it comes to new games or new games that I'm not sure about, I always give it like a 5-6 hour test, but I always make sure that it is a time that it's like, it's at the day, it's like just after I've woken up, I've already gotten like done with anything else that I need to get done, that like, I always want to make sure that the game has as much of a chance for me to get through that initial hurdle to like really lock into to play. Like Sea of Stars was one that just came out also on Game Pass that I reckon I would really enjoy, but the only time that I had to try it out was, after a full work day and then gym and then cooking and then like sitting down at 8 p.m. and just being like getting through like an hour and just be like, nope, not fucking happening, not today.
You don't want to deal with the fleshmancers.
What will make you quit a game in less than an hour and just give up on it?
Uneven achievements. Achievements not divisible by 2 or 5.
Okay.
And normally if there's some kind of like core mechanic that just doesn't gel with me, like if combat I don't like get into, I will probably drop it. Normally Soulsborne games, those kind of stuff I won't get into as much. I'll try them. I've like played all of them for at least 10 hours, but the idea of losing progress so repeatedly, like I'm big into story gaming. If it's a multiplayer only thing, I'm not even going to pick it up, likely. to go back, yes, my Final Fantasy 16 guides document was 74 pages, including the table of contents.
Jeez. Jeez, that's nuts.
And from that, there was still 7 guides that I had totally written, but they weren't going to be worth it to publish.
Well, here's another question I'm curious about, because I don't think we've ever talked about this, but there's, a lot of people have that, like there are people who play, like they just play League, they just play WoW, they just play a fighting game or two, right? Like they only have that, like video games to them is 1 or 2 games for the most part, right? I don't think any of us can afford to do that. But do you have like a home game you always boot up? Like no matter what new hotness is out, you always play this game like at least once a week, more than that.
Hunt Showdown.
I will go back and I will 100% complete Spyro the Dragon on the PlayStation 1 at least once a year, normally twice a year.
Okay. But that's just because you like speed running.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of speed runs, but it's a lot of comfort as well. Like I'm not doing it in some crazy time. It's taking me like 5-6 hours, which is not a crazy time to put that in perspective. Like speed runs get it done in like 3.5.
Oh yeah.
I do a knowledgeable casual playthrough.
Fair.
But I don't have anything that I'm just like, I will always return to this. It used to be Destiny, but then with the move to Destiny 2 and just all of the people that I played with also like going off and becoming adults after college, I just, don't have any other games like that. I guess my go-to thing week to week would technically be Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, but that's not that's for fucking nerds. It's not like no one plays D&D. Don't look at last week's episode. No one plays D&D.
I'm sorry,
last week's episode just doesn't exist. Thanks.
Yeah, the lost 100th episode of the TechRaptor podcast.
Right. And then for you, it's Hunt Showdown. That's like your comfort food, your comfort game, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we rage quit it this week, but we'll be back for the event. Like, I don't know what it is.
You're such a bitch.
Masochist. Right now, we just bounce between BattleBit and Hunt Showdown.
Okay.
But we're both waiting for CS2. So I play games with the same person every single night, pretty much. And it's usually multiplayer stuff. But Hunt Showdowns, we've been playing it since day one. We take breaks here and there, but we always come back.
Yeah, see, sometimes I do wish I had like I had that kind of comfort game to just like something you can just boot up and it's I mean, like, and there are games where I know like I would love for that game to be it. I just don't have that time because like Forza Horizon, easy. That's like a game you could just like, it's perfect for it too because of like the quick resume on Xbox and all that, right? Just like bam, you're in, you're driving, and you're just exploring and doing dumb donuts or something, right? That or like Street Fighter. I do want to like have a fighting game where I'm just like kind of playing it, like every now and then, but it's also like really quick to fall behind on because that's such a skill-based game where it's like you need to keep paying attention. It's not very chill necessarily.
I mean, the single player one for me right now is F1 23. Primarily because it is a really cool experience with VR headset and steering wheel.
Oh, and
it is really, really cool.
You have both. I like the steering wheel.
Yeah. So I originally tried it without the VR headset, and then realized it had a VR mode, and I got into that, and I haven't looked back. Like it's pretty dope.
Just if you would look back, you'd see the spoiler on your car.
Yep. And for some reason, now I'm on F1 TikTok.
I've got one of my best friends is super into Monster Hunter, and he talks about like getting to rank 144 and like unlocking G rank and doing this and that, and like I don't know if 140 makes sense.
That's really high.
Yeah, like plays it so much, he'll have like full sets of every single armor, and it's just like I wish I had, because I'll like look at all of these games coming out and be like, look at all these all look great, and they're like, yeah, but I'm playing Monster Hunter. I'm like, I don't like at a core level, I don't get that, and I wish I had that. But also look at all these cool games coming out, and then I just like bury my face in them like cocaine, and play them all.
Yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter is one of those games for sure, right? Where you can like, that's your only game. I guess for me, I find it very difficult to like put that investment in there, because it's like it's not a living game in that once Monster Hunter Rise came out, Monster Hunter World it's like it wipes your like, you know what I mean? It's like it's not, you can't carry any of that progress over, right? It's a totally new game.
It's not like
it's not like playing an MMO.
MMO that exactly, that just keeps fucking going.
Yeah, so like, because I know there are people out there who like they play an MMO and they're like, I gotta collect all the armor, I gotta get all this shit, gotta do all that, right? And yeah, like Rut's one of them, and at least that it's like even years later, assuming the servers are still up, right? You can check in on that progress or like have a living relic of it,
Yeah, I mean, I could literally resub to WoW right now and hop onto my character that I created in 2007.
The one that has like over 3 years of playtime.
Yeah.
But I wish I had it, but I just that is not me as a gamer. I need to consume, and I know that I'm a monster because of it, and so I consume.
Yeah, you consume and you move on to the next.
I mean, to be fair, there's enough to consume that basically makes up the same amount of time that people put into an MMO. And
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it depends on like your play style too, right? For me, I enjoy single player experiences, but I am a very competitive person. So tactical shooters and things like that really appeal to me, which is why I put as much time into them as I do.
But
there's something about like breaking that skill ceiling and feeling very good about where you're at.
But you don't get that with a fighting game, because that's like the single player competitive.
I'm fucking dog shit at fighting games. Like I got bodied at E3 just playing the demo of one of the Soul Calibur games, and Nick was just laughing at me the whole time. So I mean, it's bad. I'm a button masher. I don't want to learn the combos. I've never been able to get that muscle memory, but like muscle memory for a flick in CS comes naturally for me.
You got that.
I come into fighting games as like finding the meme, finding the gimmick that fits me, that's funny, and I fucking roll with that. Like I used to be a really competitive, and I mean this is like tangential to fighting game almost, but Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I used to have a really fucking good Sheik and a really good adult Link, but then once like I kind of got into fucking with Pikachu and like getting in with the quick hits, with the down A's, and then like letting other people be fighting on the other portion of the stage, and then like leaping over them and dropping a thunder in the middle of their fight and just fucking with them, I'm a mean fucking Pikachu. And people hate me for it, and I get bullied, and so I die first. And then I spend the rest of the time having fun and laughing.
And then your
like my friends will play like, oh, no items to do it seriously. And it's like, you motherfucker, I'm an item. I am a stage hazard in weight.
Oh, that's fucked up. But we just like to bring it back to like the year, right? There's a lot of games out. We just got done with TGS, right? Well, TGS is about over. Like the announcements for them are. And we've gotten a few announcements for just things that are going to be coming out early next year. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm starting to feel like I don't know if the ride's ever going to stop. I think we're just in a new era of video games where there's just a lot of big ones that are going to come out forever, and it never stops.
I said to the guide team the other day, like it used to be seasonal, right? Like you would have some limited releases January through July, and then after that it would go bonkers. But in the past 2 years, it has not stopped. Like every single month has a number of either blockbuster releases or like mid-tier releases that just keep coming. I think we're just in a different world now. The rate at which you can launch games compared to the past, where I think the game changer was as everybody adopted digital.
A little bit more inside baseball, and if this is too inside baseball for you, Rut, we can cut it out. But I remember having conversations when we were talking about hiring our first full-time person, and that first full-time person was going to do guides, and there was legitimate discussions that we had. It's like, okay, well, if they're going to be doing games for these times of the month, then what are they going to be doing in the off season? And the industry sold
never
that
materialized
for you.
Yeah,
Much-
and that was
much
what,
unlike
like
baseball.
August of last year, I think, was our first full-time hire. We're now up to 5 for transparency. And I was legitimately worried, will there be enough work? And I was proven wrong.
Mhm.
And I mean,
like
I have
we do a
all
flex
people
time
pitching in.
system where if you work over 40 hours a week, you start to build up flex time to take off extra time off. And it's pretty regular that our full-time people have to take extra time. Like I'm
But
looking at like, guys, I want to give you like,
do take time
whether
off.
you have flex time or not, I want to give you the last 2 weeks of the year off. And I'm thinking like, can I fucking do that? Am I going to be able to do that?
Well, I mean, at least in December, like what comes out? It's the Far Cry Avatar game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Something's going 1.0 in December as well, but I'm hoping like by the 14th we're done. And then I'm just like, guys, take the rest of the year off, and then January is going to be a shit show.
Wow.
It's just nuts, man. Like I'm looking at this list that we put together, and it is September 22nd, and there are 15 more large releases for the rest of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
What
That's
the
like
hell?
That's like 90
That would have
days.
been the entire year in the past.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, it's been a bonkers year. Because like looking ahead, like we've got another Like a Dragon coming out in November. We've got the triple header Sonic, Mario, Spider-Man in October 20th. Persona 5 Tactica, the Avatar Far Cry, and then immediately into next year we've got another Like a Dragon game. We've got Tekken, we've got Persona 3 Reloaded. I don't know how different that will be. Suicide Squad, I see our note here is Suicide Squad Lamau, February 2nd. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which, one of our writers just got to, 2 of our writers actually just got to play.
And a third will get to play it soon.
Oh, yeah. Which is, I wonder if that'll be a big game, guys.
Yeah.
It's only 100 hours. It's fine.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
No.
But I kind of feel like we're at this point where no matter what kind of video games you're into, like I feel like if people, like the term gamer, or who identifies as people who plays games, is the most varied it's been ever, right? Like even people who play games like Candy Crush. Like I think there was a weird era where people would look at people who play Candy Crush and be like, you're not a real gamer, right? They'd be kind of weird about it and gatekeepy. But now I think it's pretty widely accepted that if you've played a video game, no matter what the fuck it is, you're a gamer, right?
Last week they announced Resident Evil Village is coming to the iPhone.
Yeah. Like that's a real video game if you want to be gatekeepy about it.
It's crazy. I talked to some people at work last night because we had an event, and somebody was just talking about games, and I just didn't even realize they were a gamer. They just didn't seem like the type. And so it's crazy to start talking about games and realize people you work with who don't really talk about it much are like super gamers.
Yeah.
And it's just cool, like to have a hobby that is much larger than it was when we started when we were younger. To be like, oh yeah, XYZ game, and they're like, oh yeah, I played that. All right, let's talk about that for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like there's such a breadth of games coming out too that it's like no matter what kind of games you play, there's probably something you're looking forward to. At least, like I think it'd be difficult to say only one thing, but there's at least one thing you're looking forward to in the next couple months, I'd say.
And then we've been seeing so many like cool cross sections of like fandoms and cultures and stuff that it's no longer like people are being like less, like this is my bubble. People are like wanting to share more, which is cool. In movies, we just saw that pop off crazy with Barbenheimer. And I know that in the gaming sphere, we had that like crazy when Doom and Animal Crossing released within the same time frame. You know, to have Sonic, Mario, and Spider-Man come out at the same time. I've been waiting for Mario Man memes to like start showing up or something.
Yeah.
Just as these weird crossovers continue to naturally happen in gaming.
Well, now you can do Kamehamehas in Fortnite.
Kamiyamama.
Kamiyamama.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking too, even like racing game people. Forza is coming out, motorsport, right? Strategy type of people. I mean, City Skylines, right? Which I know it's not like grand strategy, right? But it's got that energy of like that's not an action game.
The what's that Pharaoh's game coming out that just got
Total War Pharaoh, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Well, and like on the heels of Baldur's Gate, I just got emails today about 2 new CRPGs that are coming out later this year too. So it's like
there's the Warhammer one, Rogue
there's
Trader.
the Warhammer one. I don't remember what the other one was that I got.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's just a lot, and cozy games have picked up a lot, like chill vibes games.
Cozy games, like cozy games are aggressively huge.
Yes,
aggressively,
which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're not looking
Lord
for
of the Rings cozy game announced.
Oh
I saw that last night.
Tales of something.
Tales of the Shire, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like
just if it's Animal Crossing, Lord of the Rings,
life. Yeah.
Yeah. And then fighting game fans have been eating good for the past year and will continue to eat well until at least, Tekken 8, right? So
RPG fans are drowning.
Yeah, well, because RPGs are inherently really long, right? So it's just
Well, even then, to have like Starfield and Baldur's Gate, and we've got like more Final Fantasy coming, and there's been Final Fantasy, and I guess RPG as a term has now become more broadly encapsulating.
Yeah, but I don't think we should be here to debate what is an RPG and how is it different from a JRPG.
Yeah. Play the games you want to play. Don't care about labels.
Yeah, well, because every game is an RPG if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You play the role of something.
The role of something
in every game. I know Stretch is like he's like racking his brain trying to find like the one game that proves the exception to the rule. Like even in everything, you play as everything. You play the role of literally everything.
Super Monkey Ball.
You play the role of a ball.
Well, no, you're the stage. You don't even control the ball.
You play the main
character. And I'm role playing the
ball. Or a stage, yeah, you're the stage.
We don't.
Katamari Damacy, you play a little guy.
Yeah, he's a good little guy though.
Even that one like that iPhone game where you build like roads. You're an architect.
Yeah, you're the mini metro or whatever. Yeah. Sim City, City Skylines. You play the role of the mayor / architect / builder / god.
Sims in general, you're god.
This is going to be my week. I want you to know. I'm going to be.
I think we broke it.
This is your white whale.
We're gonna get an all caps DM at like 4:30 in the morning. He's gonna have woken up in just a sweat. I got it.
Yeah, typing of the dead. You play someone trying to survive in a haunted house, right? Like. Wow, Stretch is like dumbfounded on this one. He is.
I think we ruined this week.
What's the most idle game I've ever heard of?
Hey, Kitten's game. Let's go back to Kitten's Corner.
No. In Kitten's game, you're a programmer. You just pull up the console commands.
That's true. I feel like even idle games, right? Like
even idle games, like you're technically managing a city or whatever.
Yeah, or like you're playing a god or something.
Things. Yeah.
It's like what's an idle game that you press start and then you just never interact with?
Doesn't exist.
A movie? Bandersnatch.
In every idle game, you have to click to upgrade and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing a level of management.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bandersnatch is a good one though.
Yeah, but I mean, you do have to choose options in it, right? Like at some point.
But you're
still
not
role
taking
playing.
on a role. No,
Well,
because
but
you're not doing you're
it's the choices, right? If you are choosing,
If you're making choices, yeah.
yeah,
watching streamers.
yes, that's my favorite video game. The game of the year 2023. Watching streamers. Wow. But
I think we won this round, buddy.
You've won the round. You haven't won the war yet.
Fair.
But we can move on from me trying to.
It's gonna be a podcast discussion for the next 20 years.
Just every week we just check back in. Have you thought of one yet? Have you figured out the game?
Like, guys, I've got one this week. Nope.
Yeah, assuming you'll have
that'll
that too.
That'll be the week that we need to take off. We'll just upload a silent 60 minutes of audio, and it's like we sit in contemplative silence thinking for games where you don't play a role.
You know, and if you're listening and you know of a game that you think would fit it, shoot it to us. Yeah. Comment down below on YouTube or something. I'm really curious if there's something out there that we're just not knowing, where you don't play the role of anything or anyone. But I think, you know, to look back on, like, maybe final thoughts here and wrap up the show a bit. We've got 2023 still is in full force. We still have got a couple months until December, until the game of the year shows, until we do our games of the year, right? And like Rod said earlier, there's like 15 at least major releases between now and then. And I'm just curious, kind of round table here, what's the next big game, and how many days until you have to think about it? You know, when does it come out for each of you? Like, Stretch, what's your next big game of this year that you're looking forward to?
I think the next big one is Assassin's Creed Mirage. So I've got a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Clock's ticking.
Yep.
Rhett, what about you? Dave the Diver on
I gotta say Assassin's Creed 2 in terms of what's next. Like, after that, it would be Alan Wake.
Fair.
Alan Wake. So you've got a month and 5 days.
The ambitious, aspirational answer for me is Phantom Liberty, and I've got 4 days from the time of recording to absorb Cyberpunk 2.0 and get to the point where you can do Phantom Liberty. And I realistically don't know.
You're definitely going to want to start over.
Oh yeah, I will 100% start over. So I don't know how that's going to go. And then I agree, Assassin's Creed, and then also like Spider-Man for sure.
I think Assassin's Creed is meant to be a shorter experience, though. From what they've been saying,
like 20 hours.
Yeah,
that's
meant to
short.
be 20 hours.
That's bite-sized.
Well, I mean,
all those feathers.
They said that Persona 4 was a 60-hour experience, and I did that in like 30. So
yeah, I still don't know how you did it, but sure.
That was a fun weekend. I had a blast that weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, even between those, it's Lords of the Fallen and Forza Motorsport. And like Forza, I'm not as keen on, but I'm curious about because it's on Game Pass, or will be on Game Pass. So like,
yeah,
you can check it out. But
I will be 100% playing it. Yeah. I'm not gonna min-max the cars because I don't understand how any of that stuff works. I just want to go fast.
Yeah, and I think I kind of prefer Horizon anyway, the vibe of it, just because it's chill, whereas Motorsport's like very competitive, right? So yeah.
That actually makes me realize I'm going to quickly hit install on Lies of P, so that when we're done recording, I can then go downstairs and actually try it. Oh yeah, Party Animals came out. That's going to be fun.
God damn.
But Jackbox is also in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I will say there's one coming out in November called Station to Station. It's like this little indie.
What is that?
you literally just build train tracks and connect different things. It's just this chill experience, and I'm hoping to close the year out with that
Mm.
and just vibe, making trains go from point A to point B.
You want to close the year out with that instead of Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
I can't handle children screaming. You know, like
Damn.
Yeah.
My name is Andrew. Fuck, I'm here. That's so rude.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good spot for us to stop with this
I
episode.
feel like this has been a really cathartic, like venting.
A little.
it's just
like,
us
"Let's do it
bitching
again."
about how many games there are.
The number of games is too damn high.
Yeah, it's honestly, that's the thing though. It's like the best problem to have. It is also just still like a time management challenge for all of us, I think.
High school me would be in heaven. I'm
Adult
slightly
you is in hell. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this cathartic, selfish episode of ours. And let us know down below what's the game that you're looking forward to the most in these next couple of months, or honestly, are you still trying to get through Baldur's Gate 3, or even that Tears of the Kingdom? Because honestly, I bet there's probably some of you out there that are still working on Tears of the Kingdom because it's just a massive game, right? So
Or
let us know in the
Starfield.
comments down below. Or I mean, if you like Starfield, I guess. Yeah, let us know if you're playing that too.
200 hours in, leave me alone.
If you want more content from us, we're at techraptor.net, where believe it or not, there's literally no shortage of new previews and reviews out there, just because you know, it's a
Boy,
lot of
howdy.
games. It's a lot of stuff. I've got, I think, a preview and a review coming out at the end of this week, so keep an eye out for those. But if you want more of this show, we will be back in your feed next Monday, and we will see you then.